Having an overweight dog is a real problem for pet parents these days, and there is so much that goes into it, and the problem keeps getting bigger and bigger. OZEMPIC notwithstanding, we are going to delve into some of the causes and especially some of the remedies for dog obesity and what you can actually do to manage your dog's weight. Now, there's a couple things that go into pet obesity. Genetics is one, and it is true that certain breeds are more prone to developing obesity than others. There will be a lot of dogs that are inherently couch potatoes and are inherently more prone to doing a bit less exercise. So this is the first thing that goes into pet obesity. The second one, and arguably the most important one, is diet. Not having your dog's diet dialed in can really lead to some really nasty consequences, whether that's obesity, diabetes, pancreatitis, joint and hip mobility issues. This is really something you need to pay attention to. The first thing you need to understand about pet obesity is that it can take months and even years from your pet's life. So it really is not cute, it's not funny, and it isn't just the way it is. We see so many pet parents with a very clear apathy towards obesity and a really apprehension even to tackle it. So the first thing we are going to do is see that we have a problem. The problem being that your pet needs to lose a few pounds, and from there we are going to try to assess the issue. The first thing you need to do is have the conversation with your significant other, have the conversation with your family, have the conversation and get everyone on board of your pet's diet. So if your kids or if anyone else in the family or maybe you are giving your dog in terms of things they should not be having, you must stop. You must assess the situation and tell everyone to please stop, and for just one person to be the giver of the food. The next thing I want you to do is assess the quality of the ingredients for everything you give your dog. So any food, any treats, any tidbits, I want you to look at those ingredients, and the ingredients are really key. We, for example, know that if we give our dog too many carbohydrates, those carbohydrates will be converted into triglycerides, into fat in the liver, and they will be stored away, packed as fat, as useless fat actually. So if you see all the quality of the ingredients decaying in your dog's diet, it is time to find a new food, it's time to find new treats. No wheat, no barley, no corn, no soy, and nothing too nasty like sugar or dextrose, which is sadly extremely prevalent in pet food these days. Now that we have spoken to our family and now that we have addressed all of the food, the treats and anything else the dog is getting, we now need to look at exercise, and we now need to look at getting your dog exercised a bit more if that is lacking indeed in their life. At the end of the day, there's only 3 or 4 things your dog can do. Levels of activity, what the dog drinks, what the dog eats, and where you take the dog, and that is pretty limited. So providing you give your dog an adequate diet, providing you give your dog enough exercise, and providing you give your dog some portion controls, and you actually measure and weigh and try to assess the problem, that will be a net benefit for your pet's life. One of the biggest things we see with pet parents is that we love our pets way too much, and we start giving them things in excess, and we start giving them for example, too many treats. And proportionally, if let's say your dog needs 100 grams a day, if we give them 10 grams in dog treats, that's really 10% of the dog's diet. So that is a lot of calories we are putting into such a small body. Try to limit, try to restrict the amount of food, and always look at the quality of the ingredients in it. I would just say that before you explore anything medical, before you explore anything else, I would try to focus my attention to those few things. And remember that pet obesity has some palpable consequences in our pets' lives. If your pet is carrying around too much weight, their stomach, their pancreas, their liver, all the internal organs are working overtime in order to feed and fuel that body and to make sure all those calories are dealt with, and consequently those hips and that mobility is getting affected every single day. If you have a cat, for example, they won't be as supple, they won't be as agile whenever they are jumping or whenever they are moving. And if you have a dog, issues like hip dysplasia are really common and quite costly and heartbreaking. Having a dog with hip and joint mobility issues is a real pain, so don't discard it as one of the consequences from it. I hope that helps. Please like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next